In case of emergency, this is the plenary hall exit plan. For guests situated at the rostrum, the nearest exits are at the north and south rostrum. For occupants at the first floor and front rows of the VIP gallery, the north, south, and main entrance exits are available. For occupants at the VIP gallery, the main entrance and north and south VIP exits are available. For occupants at the second floor gallery, there are exits available at both sides. For occupants at the third floor gallery, there are available exits at the east and west sides.
Order business. Correction sa last page. Thank you, sir.
Session is called to order. All please rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hini
Please remain standing for a minute of silent prayer. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we call the roll of the members.
The Secretary General is directed to call the roll of members.
Roll call of members. Honorable Representatives Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Ataide, Omentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Baskub, Bautista, Bautista Lin, Benitez, Bernos, Billones, Biron, Bolilia, Bondok, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro Franz, Castro Jean, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalaw, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizaldi, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Colliantes, Corvera, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cua, Quaresma, Dagoo, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayanghirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid, Dimaporo Siti Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavid, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Udela, Fariñas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galeos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Guardiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Goed Christopher, Gomar, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Gintu, Gulias, Gutierrez, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier, Ko Olga Ara, Ko Ricardo, Ko Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sani, Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Legarda, Libanan, Limkaychong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquis, Manuel, Maranyon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marinho, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles Margarita, Nolasco, Oaminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Owano Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Pleito, Premisa Sagabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Recto, Regencia, Remulia, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Reyes, Rilio, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yadamari, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame, Santos, Saulub, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Suwansing Horacio, Suwansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Huatco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, U Jazel Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 216 members responded to the call.
With 216 members responding to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we defer in the meantime the approval of the journal of the previous session.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The approval of the journal is deferred. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now proceed with the preference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions of first reading as well as communication and committee reports.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as messages, communications, and committee reports for referral to the appropriate committees.
Reference of business, bills on first reading. House Bill number 9405, declaring February 25 of every year as a regular national public non-working holiday in commemoration of the culmination of the peaceful EDSA People Power Revolution by Representative Lagman.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 9406, amending sections 3, 75, and 79 of the Omnibus Election Code of the Philippines, extending the election period and prohibiting the acts of premature campaigning by Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Bill 9407, establishing a provincial TESTA training and assessment center in Buug, Zamboanga, Sibugay by Representative Palma.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 9408, removing the exemption from criminal liability of relatives for crimes of theft, swindling, and malicious mischief by Representatives Yap Edvic, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Erwin, and Tulfo Ralph Wendell.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 9409, establishing a PRC satellite office in Rojas City, Capiz by Representative Billones.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 9410, amending sections 3A and 14 of RA number 11641, an act creating the Department of Migrant Workers by Representative Abante.
To the Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs.
House Bill 9411, requiring the disclosure of certain nutrition information for standard menu items in food establishments by Representatives Revilla Bryan, Mercado Revilla, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Marcos, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Asistio, D. Faustino, and Gintu.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 9412, converting the provincial road stretching from Barangay Guban, Siraway, Zamboanga del Norte to Barangay Kayamkam, Tungawan, Zamboanga, Sibugay into the Siraway, Tungawan National Road by Representative Amatong.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 9413, allowing Filipino Hajj pilgrims to directly register with the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah of Saudi Arabia, book and pay for their flights, accommodation, and other services by Representative Mastura.
To the Committee on Muslim Affairs.
House Bill 9414, declaring the diplomatic and consular area of the Fort Bonifacio Military Reservation as patrimonial property of the state by Representative Villafuerte Luis Raymond.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill 9415, establishing a multi-species marine hatchery in the Pontevedra, Capiz by Representative Billones.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill 9416, establishing a regular district office of the LTO in Maayon 1st District of Capiz by Representative Billones.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 9417, establishing job placement offices in public high schools to provide career services to the youth by Representatives Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Erwin, Yap Edvic, and Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 9418, upgrading the salary levels of public school teachers in basic education and public teaching personnel in higher education to salary grades 15 and 16 respectively by Representatives Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Erwin, Yap Edvic, and Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill 9419, establishing a Philippine e-health system and services in support of universal health care, by Representatives Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Erwin, Yap Edvic, and Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 9420, amending Section 488A of the Local Government Code of 1991, by Representative Rodriguez Rufus.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 9422, criminalizing the creation and dissemination of fake news, amending the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, by Representatives Yap Eric and Duterte.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 9423, defining and penalizing the crime of abuse, exploitation, and neglect of vulnerable elderly person and PWDs, by Representatives Yap Eric and Duterte.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 9424, revising the technical descriptions of foreshore land areas covered by the Balanga Wetland and Nature Park Ecotourism Zone located in Tortugas, Balanga City, Bataan, by Representatives Garcia, Albert, and Nisay.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill 9425, defining deepfake and the imposition of penalties therefore for acts constituting harmful deepfakes, by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 9426, granting the Jose M. Luison and Sons Incorporated a franchise to construct, install, establish, operate, and maintain radio and television stations in the Philippines, by Representatives Dalipe and Libanan.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill 9427, establishing the Balanga City Testa Training and Assessment Center in Balanga City, Bataan, by Representative Garcia Albert.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 9428, declaring as alienable and disposable certain parcels of land of the public domain located in Baguio City for disposition to actual and qualified applicants, thereby excluding the said lands from the coverage of RA number 7227 and Proclamation 420, Series of 1994, which transferred John Hay Air Station to BCDA, by Representative Go Mark.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill 9429, granting the Cagayan 1 Electric Cooperative, Inc. a franchise to construct, install, establish, operate, own, manage, and maintain distribution systems for the conveyance of electric power to the end users into the Garao City and municipalities of Peña Blanca, Enrile, Solana, Amulong, Piat, Santo Niño, Tuao, Rizal, Igig, Alcala, and Bagao, Province of Cagayan, by Representatives De Jesus and Dagol.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill 9431, criminalizing the creation and dissemination of fake news, amending the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, by Representatives Yap Edvic, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Erwin, and Tulfo Ralph Wendell.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 9432, establishing a regular campus of the Northern Eastern Mindanao State University in Bislig City, Surigao del Sur, to be known as the NEMSU Bislig City Campus, by Representative Pimentel.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 9433, establishing an extension office of the LTO in Maayon, Capiz, by Representative Ginto.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 9434, increasing the term of office of barangay officials from 3 years to 5 years, by Representative Ortega.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 9435, defining and penalizing the crime of abuse, exploitation, and neglect of vulnerable elderly person and PWDs, by Representatives Yap Edvic, Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, and Tulfo Ralph Wendell.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 9436, changing the term of office of barangay officials and members of the Sangguniang Kabataan from 3 to 5 years, and providing for limitation in their recall, by Representative Copilar.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 9437, strengthening and expanding the powers of the Commission on Human Rights, by Representative Abante.
To the Committee on Human Rights.
House Bill 9440, increasing the minimum salary of public school teachers from salary grade 11 to salary grade 15, by Representative Yolago.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill 9441, mandating the formulation, financing, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of a comprehensive and multi-year Tatak Pinoy Proudly Filipino strategy, establishing a Tatak Pinoy Council, by Representative Yolago.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill 9442, amending Act imposing a motor vehicle user's charge on owners of all types of motor vehicles, by Representative Yolago.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill number 9443, establishing a framework for blue economy, promoting stewardship and sustainable development of coastal and marine ecosystems and resources, by Representative Yolago.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs.
House Bill numbers 9444 and 9445, establishing the Pantabangan, Karangalan, and Talavera watershed forest reserves situated in certain municipalities in the province of Nueva Ecija as a protected area under the category of protected landscape, by Representative Yolago.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill number 9446, promoting the speedy disposition of drug cases by creating a special court to be known as the Dangerous Drug Court in every city and province nationwide, by Representative Barbers.
To the Committee on Justice.
Resolutions. House Resolutions 1392, urging the House Committee on Information and Communications Technology and other appropriate committees to conduct an investigation to determine the extent of the risks to government institutions and the data privacy of Filipino citizens due to the recent cyber attacks on the PhilHealth, PSA, and the House, by Representatives Libanan and Abalos.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1393, expressing the sense of the House urging the Philippine government to cooperate with the investigation of the ICC on the alleged crime against humanity committed in the Duterte administration's bloody war on drugs campaign, by Representatives Castro France, Brosas, and Manuel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1394, urging the House through the appropriate committee to conduct an inquiry on the late payments made by the DOH for its financial obligations to the government and private hospitals facilities that are under the MAIP program, by Representative Palma.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution numbers 1395 and 1396, commending Filipino musicians Cipriano M. de Guzman, Jr. and Cagayan de Oro resident H.O.R. Horst Hans Backer, respectively, for their dedication in investing themselves to classical music, which has brought honor to the theater industry of the Philippines, by Representative Rodriguez Rufus.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 1397, congratulating and commending Paul Gerald Del Rosario for winning the world title of the Ski MOD Lights class at the recent 42nd International Jet Sports Boarding Association World Finals, by Representative Aquino Magsaysay.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1398, congratulating and commending Anton Nicolas D. Ignacio for winning the world title of the Novice Roundabout 1100 stack category at the recent 42nd International Jet Sports Boating Association World Finals, by Representative Aquino Magsaysay.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1399, condemning all acts of violence against innocent civilians, women, children, the elderly, humanitarian workers, and journalists in Palestine and Israel, calling for the immediate cessation of hostilities and for both parties to peacefully negotiate, and appealing for the immediate and independent access for all international humanitarian assistance in affected communities, by Representatives Hataman, Adyong, Balindong, Dimaporo, Muhammad Khalid, Dimaporo City Amina, Mastura, Paglas, Tan Samir, Arbison, Sali, and Tantambut.
To the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
House Resolution 1400, recognizing and supporting exemplary performance of Filipino high school students in prestigious science, technology, engineering, mathematics, international Olympiads, by Representative Marquez.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Resolution 1401, directing the appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry into the attempt on the life of Governor Henry S. Owaminal Sr. of the province of Misamis Occidental on October 15, 2023 at the National Highway Lapasan, Clarin, Misamis Oriental, by Representatives Owaminal and Amonte.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1402, directing the Committee on Public Accounts and the Committee on Information and Communications Technology to conduct an investigation in the data breach of members' confidential personal information in the safekeeping of the PhilHealth, by Representative Adyong.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1403, directing the Committee on Public Accounts and the Committee on Health to conduct an investigation on the alleged failure of the PhilHealth to pay its outstanding 27 billion debt to private hospitals and determine the liability of accountable officers, by Representative Adyong.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1404, commending and congratulating Ms. Cheska Centeno for winning the 2023 Predator World Pool Billiard Association World 10 Ball Women's Championship held in Klagenfurt, Austria on October 22, 2023, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Gonzales Aurelio, Dalipe, Libanan, Marcos, Romualdez Yeda Marie, and Dasidre.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1405, congratulating and commending Bianca Bustamante for making history as the first female to be enrolled in the McLaren Driver Development Program by Representatives Revilla Bryan, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1406, expressing profound congratulations and commendation to Central Luzon State University maestro singers from Science City of Muñoz, Nueva Ecija in their exceptional and winning representation of the Philippines for bagging 5 major awards in the 5th Tokyo International Choir Competition in Japan last July 28 to 30, 2023. By Representative Yolago.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 1407, strongly urging the PhilHealth to increase all its benefit packages and coverages by 20 to 30% by Representative Lee.
To the Committee on Health.
House Resolution 1408, directing the House Committee on Information and Communications Technology and the House Committee on Health to conduct an inquiry on the Medusa ransomware attack against the PhilHealth by Representatives Revilla Bryan, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1409, urging the appropriate committee in the House to conduct an investigation into the death of stray animals allegedly due to poisoning inside the Manila Memorial Park in Parañaque City by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1410, congratulating and commending Cheska Centeno for winning the WPA World 10-Ball Women's title in Austria by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1413, congratulating and commending Kayla Napolis for winning a gold medal in the 2023 World Combat Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1415, opposing the planned concession arrangement for the operation and management of the Angus Polanqui hydropower complexes and reiterating the intent of the Electric Power Industry Reform Act of 2001 to retain state ownership of the complex for supplying electricity in the least cost manner by Representatives Dagook and De Jesus.
To the Committee on Energy.
House Resolution 1416, expressing the sense of the House condemning Israel's indiscriminate attacks, violence, and apartheid against the Palestinian people and calling for an immediate humanitarian truce for the protection of civilians and upholding of legal and humanitarian obligations in Gaza by Representatives Castro Franz, Brosas, and Manuel.
To the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
House Resolution 1418, condemning in the strongest possible terms the blatant, illegal, reckless, and irresponsible actions and dangerous maneuvers of the China Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia vessels against Philippine vessels last October 22, 2023, in waters within the exclusive and economic zone of the Philippines in violation of the sovereign rights of the Philippines over said exclusive economic zone, as provided for in the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and in the 2016 arbitral ruling by Representative Panaligan.
To the Special Committee on West Philippine Sea.
House Resolution 1419, expressing the profound condolences of the House to the family of the Honorable Walhati Ricasa Antonino, representative of the 1st Legislative District of the Province of South Cotabato and General Santos City from 1992 to 2001 during the 9th, 10th, and 11th Congresses, by Representative Acharon.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1420, directing the appropriate committees of the House to conduct an inquiry into the brutal killing of radio anchor Juan Humalon during his live broadcast at his radio station located at his residence in Calamba, Misamis Occidental on 5 November 2023, by Representatives Huaminal and Almonte.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1421, urging the Philippine government to grant the United States of America and other allies immediate access to EDCA sites for the conduct of joint naval and air patrols in the West Philippine Sea, by Representatives Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Yap Edvic, and Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Foreign Affairs and the Special Committee on West Philippine Sea.
House Resolution 1422, calling the Committee on Games and Amusements to conduct an investigation on alleged illegal, irregular, and/or undesirable practices connected with online gambling, including web-based application betting platforms or variations, by Representative Suarez.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1423, expressing the profound sympathy and sincere condolences of the House on the death of former chairperson of the Mindanao Development Authority and former representative of the 1st District of South Cotabato, Luwalhati Ricasa Antonino, in honor of her exemplary public service to the Filipino people, by Representative Mendoza.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1424, directing the Committee on Transportation to conduct an inquiry on the LTFRB regarding the grant and issuance of the Certificate of Public Convenience for the operation of public utility bus services, by Representatives Yap Edvic, Tulfo Erwin, and Tulfo Jocelyn.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1425, directing the appropriate House Committee to conduct an inquiry on the contractual relationship between Saraga Integrated Management Corporation of the Philippines and Bascog Network Global Consulting Services Corporation in relation to the prohibition under Section 12 of RA number 10974, by Representative Gintu.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1426, directing the appropriate committees of the House to conduct an inquiry on the alleged illegal charges, suspension orders imposed on the Mayor and Vice Mayor of Bonifacio, Misamis Occidental, including the inhumane and forcible removal from office of the Mayor of said municipality, perpetrated by the Provincial Government of Misamis Occidental, the Municipal Government of Bonifacio, PNP Army personnel, and their cohorts, by Representatives Acop and Abante.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1427, condemning in strongest terms the extrajudicial killing of radio broadcaster Juan Humalon and urging the Marcos administration to immediately investigate his murder, to hold accountable those responsible, and to take concrete steps to stop media killings and such other attacks against free speech and press freedom, by Representatives Castro Franz, Brosas, and Manuel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1428, condemning the fake news peddling, baseless red tagging, and grave threats against ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz L. Castro by Rodrigo Roa Duterte and Sunshine Media Network International, and urging the NTC to investigate the incident in light of media and journalism standards and existing laws, by Representatives Brosas, Manuel, and Castro Franz.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1429, expressing the profound sympathy and sincere condolences of the House on the death of the veteran Cebuano broadcaster and journalist Sir Francisco Choi Toralba, by Representative Mendoza.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1430, directing the Committee on Labor and Employment to conduct an inquiry on the working conditions of delivery riders of Food Panda Philippines in Cagayan de Oro City, by Representative Suwan.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1432, expressing profound congratulations and commendation to Filipino athlete Mar Aviel Carredo for garnering silver and gold medals in the 2023 Palarong Pambansa Chess Tournament and the 21st ASEAN Age Group Chess Championship, by Representative Tulfo Ralph Wendell.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1433, directing the Committee on Public Order and Safety to immediately conduct an investigation into the possible existence of syndicates or organized crime responsible for irregular transactions involving idle or non-moving accounts of some members of the SSS and the GSIS, by Representative Fernandez.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1434, commending and exalting the exemplary heroism and bravery of Ms. Camille Figueras Jasalva for risking her life to save her 95-year-old patient employer during the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack in southern Israel, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Gonzales Aurelio, Dalipe, Libanan, Marcos, Romualdez, Yeda Marie, and Asidre.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1435, commending and congratulating Paralympian Gerald Pete M. Mangliwan for winning the gold medal in the men's T52 wheelchair racing event during the 4th Asian Para Games held in Hangzhou, China on October 22 to 28, 2023. By Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Gonzales Aurelio, Dalipe, Libanan, Marcos, Romualdez, Yeda Marie, and Asidre.
To the Committee on Rules.
Communications. Letter dated May 29, 2023 of the COA Director 3, Officer in Charge, Regional Director, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, addressed to the Regional Speaker, copy furnished the House, transmitting copies of certain annual audit reports for the year ending December 31, 2022.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Various reports submitted by local government chief executives and officials regarding their fund utilization and status of program project implementation of the LGSF.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated September 7, 2023 of the BIR Commissioner submitting to the House a copy of their consolidated monthly report of disbursements for the month of August 2023.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated September 7, 2023 of the LRTA Administrator submitting to the House a copy of their annual report for the year 2022.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated September 12, 2023 of the BSP Governor submitting to the House a copy of their report on economic and financial developments in the Philippines for the second quarter of 2023.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated September 13, 2023 of the COA Chairperson furnishing the House with a copy of their consolidated audit report on the COVID-19 funds for the year ending December 31, 2022.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated September 20, 2023 of the COA OIC Commissioner furnishing the House with copies of their annual audit reports and management letter on certain government corporations.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letters dated September 26, 2023 and September 27, 2023 of the COA Chairperson submitting to the House copies of certain reports as of December 31, 2022 and their agency action plan and status of implementation as of August 15, 2023 on audit observations and recommendations of the Commission on Audit for the calendar year 2022 respectively.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated October 26, 2023 of the Executive Secretary, Office of the President, Malacanang, transmitting two original copies of RA number 11964, which was signed by the President.
To the Archives.
Committee reports. Committee Report number 811, submitted by Committee on Youth and Sports Development on House Resolution number 1417. Committee Report numbers 812 and 816, submitted by the Committee on Labor and Employment on House Bill numbers 9430 and 9447. Committee Report numbers 814 and 815, submitted by the Committee on Tourism on House Bill numbers 9438 and 9439.
The aforementioned committee reports are all referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may I respectfully request that we acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, Representative Jose Bong Teves Jr. from the LGU of Siniluan, Laguna. And they are Vice Mayor Carla Valderrama, Kapitan Janet Jimena Hain, Kapitan Ariel Adaya Reliosa, Kapitan Julijen Acoba, Kapitan Florencio Lagarile, Kapitan Aldin Watson, Kapitan Roldan M. Castaño, Kapitan Jose S. Biruila, Kapitan Victor D. Alvarez, Kapitan Juvito Filipino, Kapitan Eduardo Besmonte, Kapitan Felipe Gacer, Kapitan Hernan A. Samela Jr., and Kapitan Jerome Villanueva.
We welcome the guests of Deputy Majority Leader Bong Teves and Laguna 4th District Representative Maria Hamina Catherine Garao. Thank you for your visit. Welcome to the House of the Representatives. Mabuhay po kayo. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we also acknowledge the guests of Representative Christopher Coco M. Yap of the 2nd District of Southern Leyte, and they are Maria Radel Ann Talagit, visitors, just visitors from the LGU of Sugod, Southern Leyte. Sherelle Luzon, Glench Raulito Luzon, and Glel Francfel Luzon.
We welcome the guests of the Honorable Coco Yap. Thank you for your visit. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Mabuhay po kayo. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we also acknowledge the guests of the representatives from Batangas. Honorable Lienda B. Bulilia, the Deputy Speaker Ralph G. Recto, Honorable Eric Buhain, Honorable Maria Teresa Colliantes, and the Honorable Marvin Marino. They are members of the Girl Scouts of the Philippines from Batangas. And they are Eloisa Angela Portugal, Miss Joy Montalbo, Miss Vicky N. Uy, Miss Liza Venezuela, Miss Blessy Culia, Mr. Glenn A. Biranya, Miss Maria Teresa Miss Glenn A. Biranya, Ms. Maria Teresa Villon, Ms. Maria Teresa Luntok, and Ms. Luis Gualberto.
We welcome the guests of the Honorable Yanda Bolilla, the Honorable Ralph Recto, the Honorable Eric Buhain, the Honorable Maria Teresa Collantes, and the Honorable Marvin Marino, the Girl Scouts of the Philippine Batangas Council. Thank you for your visit. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we also acknowledge the guest of the Honorable Gentleman from the 2nd District of Misamis Occidental, Representative Sancho Fernando Ando F. Omial, from the city of Tagub, Misamis Occidental, headed by my Mayor, Sabinia Canama, and together with the City Council, Rubin Roma, and the department heads as follows. Ms. Wilma Canama, Mr. Alvin Datoy, Florida, Mr. Melendo Tala, Mr. Pedro Firaren, Doctora Jessa Estrella, Ms. Cristal Jul Fuentes, Mr. Neil Inerio, and Mr. Dariel Romo.
The guests of the Honorable Ando Ominal are welcome to the House of Representatives. Thank you for your visit. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider bills under the calendar of business for Thursday and Friday. Pursuant to our rules, allow me to put forth, by way of omnibus motion, the consideration of following local bills. House Bill number 9314 under Committee Report number 795. House Bill number 9315 under Committee Report 796. House Bill number 9316 under Committee Report 9316. House Bill number 9317 under Committee Report 798. House Bill number 9318 under Committee Report 799. House Bill number 9319 under Committee Report 800. House Bill number 9332 under Committee Report 802, and House Bill number 9334 under Committee Report number 803. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved, and the Secretary General is directed to read the titles of House Bills 9314, 9315, 9316, 9317, 9318, 9319, 9332, and 9334.
House Bill number 9314, an act converting the Baao Community College in the municipality of Baao, province of Camarines Sur, into a state college and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 9315, an act converting the G.H. Ceriles State College located in Barangay Mati, municipality of San Miguel, province of Zamboanga del Sur, into a state university and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 9316, an act converting the San Pedro Technological Institute in the city of San Pedro, province of Laguna, as a state college and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 9317, an act converting the Cotabato Foundation College of Science and Technology in the municipality of Aracan, province of Cotabato, into a state university and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 9318, an act converting the Makilala Institute of Science and Technology in the municipality of Makilala, province of Cotabato, into a state college and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 9319, an act renaming the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology as the Nueva Ecija State University, expanding its mandate and curricular offerings, strengthening its governing board, and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 9332, an act converting the Zamboanga del Sur School of Arts and Trades, located in Barangay Kawit, Pagadian City, province of Zamboanga del Sur, into a state college and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 9334, an act converting the Sulu State College in the municipality of Jolo, province of Sulu, into a state university and appropriating funds therefore.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider the respective explanatory notes of the aforementioned bills as the sponsorship message of the respective authors. I so move.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved and the explanatory notes of the aforementioned House bills are adopted as their sponsorship speeches. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member who wishes to interpolate on the said local bills, I move that we terminate the period of interpellation.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The period of interpellations is terminated. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we close the period of committee amendments and individual amendments, there being no amendments that would be introduced.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The period of amendments is hereby closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we vote on second reading the following House bills. House Bill number 9314, House Bill number 9315, House Bill number 9316, House Bill number 9317, House Bill number 9318, House Bill number 9319, House Bill number 9332, and House Bill number 9334. I so move.
There is an omnibus motion to approve House Bills 9314, 9315, 9316, 9317, 9318, 9319, 9332, 9334 on second reading. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The aforementioned House bills are all approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we respectfully acknowledge the guests of Honorable Ralph Tulfo, namely Alvin Lobreguito, Jefferson Manatad, and Mar Aviel Carredo.
We welcome the guests of the Honorable Ralph Tulfo. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Thank you for your visit. Mabuhay po kayo. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with our rules governing inquiries in aid of legislation, I move that we refer the following House resolution to the appropriate committees. House Resolution 1257 to the Committee on Public Order and Safety. House Resolution 1261 to the Committee on Health. House Resolution 1263 to the Committee on Senior Citizens. House Resolution 1268 to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education. House Resolution 1269 to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries. House Resolution 1302 to the Committee on Legislative Franchise. House Resolution 1305 to the Committee on Overseas Workers' Affairs. House Resolution 1306 to the Committee on Agrarian Reform. House Resolution 1307 to the Committee on Energy. House Resolution 1309 to the Committee on Ecology. House Resolution 1310 to the Committee on Agriculture and Food. House Resolution 1313 to the Committee on Public Accounts. House Resolution 1314 to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education. House Resolution 1315 to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education. House Resolution 1317 to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries. House Resolution 1319 to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education. House Resolution 1320 to the Committee on Transportation. House Resolution 1321 to the Committee on Public Works and Highways. House Resolution 1324 to the Committee on Ecology, and House Resolution 1326 to the Committee on Human Rights. So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The aforementioned House resolutions are all referred to the aforementioned committees. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the rules governing inquiries in aid of legislation, I move that we refer the speeches of the following House members to the appropriate committees. Speech of Representative Herrera to the Committee on Energy, Representative De Venecia to the Special Committee on Creative Industries, Representative Gomez to the Committee on Public Works and Highways, Representative Vergara to the Committee on Agriculture and Food, Representative Reyes to the Committee on Health, Representative Brosas to the Committee on Ecology and Natural Resources, Representative Luistro to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture, Representative Ordanes to the Committee on Senior Citizens, Representative Villarica to the Committee on Health, Representative Abalos to the Committee on Health, Representative Miguel to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education, Representative Franz Castro to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture, Representative Manuel to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The aforementioned speeches are referred to the aforementioned committees. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the change of referral of the following measures. House Bill number 9135 from the Committee on Agriculture and Food to the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals. House Bill number 9144 from the Committee on Agriculture and Food to the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals. The privileged speech of Representative Alba delivered on September 4, 2023 from the Committee on Agriculture and Food to the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, and House Resolution number 523 from the Committee on Government, Enterprises, and Privatization to the Committee on Rules. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The aforementioned changes in referral of the aforementioned measures are hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we include additional co-authors to House Bill numbers 9034, 9084, 9134, 9153, 9277, 9292, 9293, 9294, 9305, and 9320, and House Resolution numbers 1264, 1282, 1322, 1328, 1366, 1368, 1380, 1382, 1391, 1404, 1434, and 1435 as contained in the list to be submitted by the Committee on Rules. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The additional co-authors for the aforementioned House bills and resolutions are hereby approved. The Deputy Speaker, the Majority Leader is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with the leave of the House, I move that we open the privilege hour.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The chair declares a privilege hour.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the honorable gentleman from the 2nd District of Misamis Occidental, Representative Sancho Fernando Ando F. Omeal, to avail of the privilege hour.
The gentleman from the 2nd District of Misamis Occidental, the Honorable Sancho Fernando Ando F. Ominal, is recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, my dear colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I stand on a question of personal and collective privilege on a matter that this representation finds seriously disturbing and terrifying in view of the recent horrific string of violent events that have occurred in our beloved province, the province of Misamis Occidental. 2 days ago, a dreadful news hugged the spotlight of both the national and international media community with the spread of the viral video on the brutal killing of a radio broadcaster during his live stream at his very home. At about 5:35 in the morning of Sunday, the 5th of November 2023, two unknown individuals disguised to deliver an important announcement gained access to the radio station inside the residential compound of Mr. Juan T. Homalon, also known locally as Johnny Walker, at Barangay Don Bernardo A. Neri, Municipality of Calamba, Misamis Occidental. Upon gaining access, the culprit shot Homalon twice in the face, causing his instant death. Together with the lookout, the assailant then sped away as some bystanders covered. All this happened in less than half a minute, vividly captured in the video of his own live stream. Mr. Johnny Walker was a friend and a strong supporter of our administration under Governor Henry S. Waminal. Mr. Speaker, I do not need to show the video as this viral video has been shared in multiple Viber chat and group chats, not only in our country, but in the whole world. Mr. Speaker, it is so disconcerting to contemplate that this heinous incident is the fourth gory crime that transpired in the province of Misamis Occidental in the last 30 days. On the 28th of October 2023, at 10:40 in the evening, an explosion rocked the gate at the house of Calamba Municipal Mayor Luisito Villanueva. Luckily, no one was injured in the incident. It is important to note that Mayor Villanueva is also a good friend and a strong political ally. Then, on the 23rd of October 2028, at the same barangay where Mr. Homalon was killed, in the same municipality, the municipal engineer, Hobson Baunes, was gruesomely shot, hit on his left chest, and is currently fighting for his life at the intensive care unit of a hospital. And on October 15, 2023, while on their way home after a late-night official meeting, the convoy of Governor Henry S. Waminal was attacked with an improvised explosive device in Clarin, Misamis Occidental. Fortunately, no one was harmed during the explosion, but the governor's vehicle and that of his police escorts were damaged. Even worse, on December 22, 2021, in the city of Tangub, Misamis Occidental, Governor Waminal, who was then a deputy speaker of this august body and vying for a gubernatorial post, survived a sniping incident, which, however, caused the death of his vice-gubernatorial candidate, Mayor Michael Gutierrez. This incident is personally known to our current Chief of the Philippine National Police, as he was the regional director when this happened. To this date, Mr. Speaker, the series of criminal acts remain unresolved, with no perpetrators or suspects arrested or hailed to justice, nor cases been filed in court. Frighteningly, these unabated acts of violence create a culture of impunity and an atmosphere of lawlessness in the province of Misamis Occidental, thus emboldening more criminals to fearlessly commit dreadful acts. With this disquieting pattern of killings and violence and the proliferation of brazen attacks and unabated crimes, it begs the question of whether the safety and security of our people, the strict enforcement of the law, and the maintenance of peace and order can be fully attained for the good of the Filipino people. With this, I call on the Philippine National Police, the National Bureau of Investigation, and all law enforcement agencies to investigate and resolve the tragic killing of Mr. Juan Homalon, as well as a series of unresolved crimes in the province of Misamis Occidental. I sincerely appeal and beg our law enforcers' full support and attention to the peace and order situation in our province. The series of violent attacks on our government officials, lawful authorities, media personalities, and other unnamed victims are not simple matters to take lightly. One life is too valuable to be taken for granted. We in the province of Misamis Occidental have worked seriously hard to achieve our much desired peace and order to complement with the growth and development efforts that we are pouring for the best interest of the Misamisnons. We hope that these gruesome, unresolved criminal acts will stop tainting the gains that we have long built for the province. More importantly, Mr. Speaker, the complete and speedy resolution of these unresolved crimes in the province is paramount as it speaks and is reflective of the state of the country's overall peace and order. Their full resolution also guarantees the sense of security of the Filipino people that criminal elements have no place in the commendable leadership of the present administration. I enjoin the concerted efforts of all stakeholders to provide urgent, meaningful answers to these lingering criminality issues and in condemning every dastardly act that strikes at the core of the country's democracy and remain to be a continuing threat to the inclusive growth and lasting peace that our nation seeks to achieve. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker, and my dear colleagues. Mabuhay ang Misamis Occidental, mabuhay ang Pilipinas, mabuhay ang sambayanang Pilipino.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Ominal to the appropriate committee for its appropriate action.
The speech of the Honorable Auminal is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we close the privilege hour.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The privilege hour is hereby closed. Majority Leader.
Speaker.
Speaker, I move that we recognize the representative ACT Teachers Party List.
The Honorable Franz Castro is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand before this august chamber for a collective and personal privilege, Mr. Speaker.
What is the nature of the matter that the Honorable Franz Castro
Justice
wishes
for
rises on?
the victims of extrajudicial killings.
The lady has 10 minutes.
Maraming salamat, Ginoong Speaker. Noong nakaraang buwan, tayo ay nagulat sa nakakabahalang pag-amin mismo ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na ginamit niya ang intelligence funds upang magpatupad ng extrajudicial killing sa kanyang mga nasasakupan sa Davao City nung siya pa ay alkalde nito. Sa isang programa ng Sunshine Media Network International o ng SMNI, sinabi niya, and I quote, "Ang intelligence fund binili ko, pinapatay ko lahat, kaya ganon ang Davao." Unquote. Dagdag pa niya, and I quote, "Yung mga kasama nyo, pinatigok ko talaga. Yun ang totoo." Unquote. Mas masama pa ang mga pondo na ginamit ni dating Pangulong Duterte upang maghasik ng programa ng pagpatay ng mga Pilipino ay mga pondo ng taong bayan. Mula mismo sa mga mamamayang biktima. Hindi lamang nagtatanong ang mga tao kung bakit isang malaking bahagi ng pampublikong pondo ay itinatago at ginagawang lihim mula sa publiko. Labis na galit ang nararamdaman ng mga Pilipino na ang mga pondo na ito ay ginagamit para sa mga extrajudicial killings at paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Ang pag-amin na ito ay nagbibigay ng batayan upang payagan ng ICC na imbestigahan ang aligasyon ng crimes against humanity na isinagawa ng dating Pangulong Duterte at mabigyan ng katarungan ang libo-libong Pilipinong pinatay sa Davao City at sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa. Noong si Duterte ay bumaba sa pwesto noong Hunyo 2022, mayroon ng higit na 6,000 mga pinatay na kaugnay ng anti-illegal drugs campaign ng administrasyon na opisyal na kinilala ng gobyerno. Pero sinasabi ng mga grupo ng karapatang pantao na ang bilang ay maaring malapit sa 30,000 na katao. Noong ika-8 ng Pebrero 2018, binuksan ng dating ICC prosecutor na si Fatou Bensouda ang preliminaryong pagsisiyasat sa mga paglabag sa karapatang pantao ng Administrasyong Duterte sa kampanya nito laban sa droga. Natuklasan ng prosecutor na may sapat na batayan upang maniwala na ang kasong crimes against humanity ay nagaganap sa teritoryo ng Pilipinas mula sa isa ng Hulyo 2016 at ika-16 ng Marso 2019 sa konteksto ng kampanya ng pamahalaan ng Pilipinas laban sa droga. Ayon sa kanyang pahayag, batay sa malalim na proseso ng preliminaryong pagsisiyasat, ang mga impormasyong available ay nagpapakita na ang mga miyembro ng Philippine National Police at iba pang mga sangkot na mga individual ay iligal na pinatay ang libu-libong sibilyan sa panahong iyon. Noong Marso 2018, nag-utos si dating Pangulong Duterte na umalis ang Pilipinas sa Rome Statute matapos i-anunsyo ni ICC Prosecutor Bensouda na sisimulan niya ang preliminaryong pagsisiyasat sa mga reklamo laban sa kanya. Gayunpaman, hindi ibig sabihin nito na nawala ang jurisdiksyon ng pandaigdigang hukuman sa kaso na isinampa bago ang nasabing pag-alis. Ayon sa Artikulo 127 ng Rome Statute, ang hindi liligtas ng withdrawal o pag-alis sa ICC ang isang estado sa pananagutan. Una, magiging epektibo lamang ang withdrawal ng 1 taon matapos matanggap ng ICC ang abiso para rito. Maliban kung ang abiso ay nagtatakda ng mas huling petsa. Bukod dito, Mr. Speaker, sinasabi rin ng Rome Statute, and I quote, "Its withdrawal shall not affect any cooperation with the court in connection with the criminal investigation and proceedings in relation to which the withdrawing state had a duty to cooperate and which are commenced prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective. Nor shall it prejudice in any way the continued consideration of any matter which was already considered or under consideration by the court prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective," unquote. Sa madaling salita, may obligasyon pa rin ang Pilipinas na makipag-cooperate sa ICC dahil inutos ng dating Pangulong Duterte ang withdrawal 1 buwan matapos masimula ng investigasyon ng ICC prosecutor at naging effective ang withdrawal noong 2019 lang. Noong ika-15 ng Setyembre 2021, opisyal na inaprubahan ng Pre-Trial Chamber 1 ng ICC ang hiling ng Office of the Prosecutor na simula ng investigasyon kaugnay ng krimen na sakop ng jurisdiksyon ng hukuman na umano'y nagawa sa teritoryo ng Pilipinas mula November 1, 2011 hanggang March 16, 2019 sa konteksto ng kampanya laban sa droga. Ang nasabing hiling ay unang isinumite noong May 24, 2021. Mr. Speaker, ayon sa Artikulo 15, Paragraph 3 ng Rome Statute, kung may nakitang reasonabling batayan ang prosecutor na ituloy ang isang investigasyon, maghahain siya sa pre-trial chamber ng isang request for authorization of an investigation, kasama ang anumang nakolektang supporting materials. Maaaring maghain ng mga representasyon sa pre-trial chamber ang mga biktima alinsunod sa rules of procedure and evidence ng ICC. Ayon sa Artikulo 15, Paragraph 4, susuriin ng pre-trial chamber ang mga dokumentong ipinasa sa kanya. At basta nakita nito na sakop ang reklamo ng jurisdiksyon ng hukuman, formal nang ilulunsad ang investigasyon. Samantala, bagamat noong 2021 ay binasura ng Korte Suprema and Bank ang mga petisyong kine-question ang bisa ng desisyon ni dating Pangulong Duterte na umalis ang Pilipinas sa ICC dahil sa pagiging moot na nito. Kinumpirma ng Korte Suprema na ponensya ni Justice Marvic Leonen na ang Pilipinas ay patuloy na obligado na makipagtulungan sa criminal proceedings ng ICC. Sinabi sa desisyon na hindi absoluto ang kapangyarihan ng Pangulo na mag-withdraw sa isang tratado gaya ng kung ang withdrawal ay labag sa isang batas na nagpapatupad ng tratadong iyon katulad ng Republic Act 9851 o ang Philippine Act on Crimes Against International Humanitarian Law, Genocide, and Other Crimes Against Humanity. Dagdag pa ng Korte, and I quote, mechanisms that safeguard human rights and protect against the grave offenses sought to be addressed by the Rome Statute remain formally in place in this jurisdiction. Further, the International Criminal Court retains jurisdiction over any all acts committed by the government actors until March 17, 2019. Hence, the withdrawal from the Rome Statute does not affect the liabilities of individuals charged before the International Criminal Court for acts committed up to this date, and I quote, dagdag pa ng Korte, may obligasyon pa rin ang pamahalaan sa pandaigdigang komunidad sa ilalim ng International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, Convention Against Torture at iba pang mga international rights instrument. Mr. Speaker, sa ibang salita, nananatili ang obligasyon ng bansa na protektahan ang karapatang pantao ng mamamayan. Nananatiling may pananagutan ang dating Pangulo para sa mga terribling krimen niya dahil sa kanyang di umano'y gera laban sa droga, na sa katotohanan ay madugo, di makatao at walang katarungang gera laban sa mga ama, ina, kapatid, bata at mamamayang mahihirap na pinatay gamit ang pera at rekurso ng taong bayan. Sa mga kadahilan ng ito at para makamit ang katarungan para sa libo-libong pinatay sa ilalim ng Administrasyong Duterte, nananawagan kami na sana ay makipagtulungan ang Administrasyong Marcos Jr. sa ICC sa lalong madaling panahon. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Speaker, at muli magandang hapon sa ating lahat.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Franz Castro to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The privileged speech of the Honorable Franz Castro is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of business for the day, I move that we consider House Bill number 9293 contained under Committee Report number 779, copies of which have already been distributed to the members. And may I also further request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved, and the Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill 9293.
House Bill number 9293, an act establishing the Philippine Atomic Energy Regulatory Authority and providing for a comprehensive legal framework for nuclear safety, security, and safeguards in the peaceful utilization of nuclear energy in the Philippines and appropriating funds therefore.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Mark Go to sponsor the measure.
The Honorable Marco
Huangco.
The Honorable Mark Cojuangco is recognized to sponsor the measure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, Mr. Speaker, this representation is sponsoring this measure for the second time. The last time was the parliamentary status was that it reached the end of interpellation and was on the period of amendments, but there was a desired amendment which the leadership decided was better to be brought back to the committee. That amendment had to do with making the PhilAtom fiscally independent, and so granting it income through a universal charge. That provision has been approved by a joint committee meeting of the Committee of Nuclear Energy and the Committee of Energy. So not only one but two committees have now approved this. It passed through the Committee on Ways and Means. It passed through the Committee on Appropriations. And now it is referred back to the floor for further deliberation. Distinguished colleagues, Mr. Speaker, the certainty of avoiding between $700 million to $1 billion per year per gigawatt of fossil fuel, coal, and LNG importation makes nuclear both urgent and imperative for the Philippines, a country with little indigenous fossil fuel resources. Nuclear is thus intrinsically cheap. It is also among the lowest emissions and least polluting of all energy sources, yet maintains reliability which exceeds that of conventional sources. And unlike wind and solar, it is not intermittent, and so will not require expensive workarounds to make it work for our grid. Its absence of pollution protects the environment and thus saves lives. In the Philippines, a few thousand lives already since we mothballed nuclear in 1986 and instead built up now 55% of coal power generation and 20% of gas generation. Worldwide, nuclear has already saved over 2 million lives since it began approximately 60 years ago. Half-priced electricity will be the economic enabler and catalyst for jobs creation in the millions. This representation sees at least 16,000 megawatts of nuclear by 2045 and up to 32,000 megawatts of nuclear by 2045. If we want our country to prosper, we must embark on our nuclear transition from fossil fuels now. I urge the House and the Senate to act in making substantial nuclear in the Philippine energy mix a reality. My dear colleagues, please support this enabling bill and the establishment of our independent PhilAtom, our independent regulator. That is my sponsorship speech, Mr. Speaker, Your Honors. Thank you so much.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we deferred consideration on the said measure, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection?
Suspend consideration of the measure, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 1264 contained under Committee Report number 750, Mr. Speaker, and may we request the Secretary General to read the title of the said resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1264.
House Resolution 1264, resolution supporting the establishment of a multi-actor partnership for the enhancement of climate and disaster risk financing and insurance in the Philippines.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the said measure, Mr. Speaker.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1264, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1264 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 1282, contained under Committee Report number 752, copies of which have already been distributed to the members, and may further request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said resolution.
Is there an objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1282.
House Resolution 1282, resolution urging the Department of Energy to initiate, negotiate, and enter into intergovernmental agreements for the establishment and operation of nuclear energy power generating facilities.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize first the honorable gentleman from the Kabataan Party List, Representative Manuel Raul Manuel, for his manifestation.
The Honorable Raul Manuel is recognized for his manifestation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This representation would like to manifest our objection to this resolution based on 3 points. Una po, Mr. Speaker, nabanggit sa resolution na the Philippine government discourages foreign entities to enter into agreements with the current government to introduce nuclear energy technology. Tingin natin, Mr. Speaker, ay hindi din naman ito ang nangyayari kasi in fact, the current administration has had talks, for example, with the government of the United States for us to have small modular reactors, which means ay hindi naman po talaga totoo na hindi bukas ang current government. No? In fact, despite many concerns about the use of nuclear energy in the country, ay nagsisimula na ang ganitong mga diskusyon, which means this resolution is actually moot, Mr. Speaker. Pangalawa po, nabanggit din sa resolution that there has been a rise in the cost of generating electricity in the country driven by the increase of imported fuel prices. Now, Mr. Speaker, if we want to have indigenous sources of energy, then that means we should harness our own energy sources, and that includes renewable energy. Even though totoong sa ngayon ay intermittent ang renewable energy sources, Mr. Speaker, ay ngayon marami din namang nag-aaral paano natin mas paghusayan ang storage ng renewable energy. Kaya naman mas ang tunguhin natin ay paano pa mapabilis ang paglaki ng share ng renewable energy sa ating bansa kesa nuclear energy, Mr. Speaker. Also, nuclear energy is an imported fuel source, no? Which is actually not that different from the other sources which we also say are imported, like oil and coal. Mr. Speaker, dagdag din na the resolution says that for us to reduce electricity rates, there is an urgent need to include nuclear energy. But Mr. Speaker, based on global data from 2009 to 2019, ay gihamak po na mas mababa talaga ang presyo ng renewable energy compared sa nuclear energy. When we talk about electricity prices expressed in what we call LCOE, or levelized costs of energy, which captures the cost of building the power plant itself, as well as the ongoing costs for fuel and operating the power plant over its lifetime. Mr. Speaker, ang cost po per megawatt hour ng solar photovoltaic ay $40 lamang. Onshore wind, $41. Compared to nuclear energy, which costs $155 as of 2019, Mr. Speaker. Compared to solar thermal tower, mas mababa pa rin, $141. And Mr. Speaker, finally, nabanggit din sa resolution ang mga countries who are potential vendors of nuclear fuel and technology. But Mr. Speaker, I think there has been an omission of United States, which is actually the top seller of nuclear energy across the globe. And the US is also using nuclear energy as part of its foreign policy strategies. It deliberately wants other countries to buy nuclear energy from itself. Dahil ang nuclear energy po from the construction of the power plant, sa paggamit po nito hanggang sa decommissioning, that can mean decades and even a century ng pagkakatali ng bansa sa United States, which means even discussions on energy sources are not politically neutral, Mr. Speaker. Kaya with that, based on mootness and doubts on its capacity to lower energy prices, as well as implications on security issues, we oppose this resolution. And we would like to put that on record. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the said measure, Mr. Speaker.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1282, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1282 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 1322 is contained under Committee Report number 775. I may further request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1322.
House Resolution 1322, resolution congratulating and commending Andrew Lawrence Kaunan Cabigon and Matthew Andre Kua Hogo, students of Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu, for winning gold medals in the International Junior Math Olympiad held in Singapore from December 3 to 6, 2022.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution
Is
number
there any, as many as are in favor of House Resolution 1322, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1322 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 1328 as contained under Committee Report 777, copies of which have already been distributed to the members of the House, and may I further request that Secretary General be directed to read the title of House Resolution, of the said House Resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1328.
House Resolution 1328, resolution congratulating and commending the Ateneo de Manila University Debate Society for its outstanding achievement as the champion in the prestigious World Universities Debating Championship held in Madrid, Spain, from December 27, 2022 to January 3, 2023.
Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we adopt the said measure.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1328, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1328 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 1366, copies of which have already been distributed to the members of the House. I move, Mr. Speaker, a further request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1366.
House Resolution 1366, resolution commending and congratulating Filipino pole vaulter Ernest John E.J. Uy Obiena for winning the first gold medal of the Philippines in the 19th Asian Games held in Hangzhou, China on September 30, 2023.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the said House Resolution.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1366, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1366 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 1380, copies of which have already been distributed previously to the members, and may I further request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of House Resolution number 1380.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1380.
House Resolution 1380, resolution congratulating and commending Margarita Meggy P. Ochoa and Annie Ramirez for winning gold medals in the women's jiu-jitsu competitions in the 19th Asian Games held in Hangzhou, China, from September 23 to October 8, 2020.
Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we adopt the said measure.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1380, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1380 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration of House Resolution 1391, copies of which have been distributed to members of the House, and move that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1391.
House Resolution 1391, resolution congratulating and commending the men and women of the Philippine delegation for their resilience and exemplary performance during the 19th Asian Games held in Hangzhou City, Zhejiang Province, China.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the measure in consolidation with House Resolutions 1354, 1355, 1356, 1357, 1358, 1359, 1363, 1379, and 1384.
As many as are in favor of the consolidated House Resolution 1391, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1391 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration of House Resolution 1404 in consolidation with House Resolution 1410, and I move that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the resolution.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1404.
House Resolution 1404, resolution commending and congratulating Ms. Cheska Centeno for winning the 2023 Predator World Pool Billiard Association World 10-Ball Women's Championship held in Klagenfurt, Austria on October 22, 2020.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the measure.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1404, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1404 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration of House Resolution 1435, copies of which have been previously distributed, and move that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the resolution.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved, and the Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1435.
House Resolution 1435, resolution commending and congratulating Paralympian Gerald Pete M. Mangliwan for winning the gold medal in the men's T52 wheelchair racing event during the 4th Asian Paragames held in Hangzhou, China on October 22 to 28, 2023.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the measure.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1435, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1435 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration of House Resolution 1434, copies of which have been previously distributed, and move that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the resolution.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1434.
House Resolution 1434, resolution commending and exalting the exemplary heroism and bravery of Ms. Camille Figueras Hesalva for risking her life to save her 95-year-old patient employer during the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack in southern Israel.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the measure.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1434, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1434 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for consideration of House Resolution 1382, copies of which have been previously distributed, and I move that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the resolution.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1382.
House Resolution 1382, resolution honoring and commending the heroism, bravery, and dedication of Angeline Perata Aguirre and 2 other Filipinos who died in the Hamas-Israel war, and expressing profound condolences to bereaved families.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the measure.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1382, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1382 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for consideration of House Resolution 1368 in consolidation with House Resolutions 1347, 1348, 1349, 1370, 1372, and 1386, copies of which have been previously distributed, and I move that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the consolidated resolution.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of Consolidated House Resolution 1368.
House Resolution 1368, resolution expressing the profound condolences of the House of Representatives to the family of Honorable Edward Solon Hagedorn, representative of the 3rd Legislative District of Palawan and former mayor of Puerto Princesa City, Palawan.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the measure.
As many as are in favor of the Consolidated House Resolution 1368, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1368 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to include additional co-authors to House Resolution number 1414 as contained in the list to be submitted by the Committee on Rules.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The additional co-authors is hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to designate Representatives Mark Go and Jervil Jinky Beatriz Luestro as additional members to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of House Bill number 7535 and Senate Bill number 2028 on granting additional benefits to Filipino centenarians. So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The aforementioned representatives are so designated. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in the interest of the people of the 3rd District of Palawan, I move to designate Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez as the legislative caretaker of the 3rd District of Palawan.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez is designated as the legislative caretaker of the 3rd District of Palawan. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adjourn until Monday, November 13 at 3 p.m.
Session is adjourned until Monday at 3 p.m.
Tapos na kami.